Hello and welcome. You're watching Left, Right and Centre. I'm Gargi Rawat. Today on the show, we're focusing on this massive problem that's plaguing us as a society, where our young people are feeling so pressurized from the kind of expectations they're facing from their families, the toxic competition for admission to the best institutes, grueling days studying for hours on end, that at some point they crack and are driven to suicide. 20 students preparing for competitive exams in Rajasthan's Kota have died by suicide so far this year. 20 teenagers who felt so overcome by the pressures and stress that they felt a better option was to end it all. But Kota is just a symptom of the larger disease that's facing us as a society, where we've created such a marks-driven, toxic environment that it's driving so many students to suicide. According to government data, in 2022, student suicides have been rising steadily for the last 5 years. Rajasthan Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot has directed officials to form a committee to provide suggestions on preventing student suicides in Kota. Now, that committee is to submit its report in 15 days. But what he said was interesting. He hit out at parents for enrolling students of class 9 and 10 in coaching institutes, and he said, "You are committing a crime. It is as if IIT is God."
ऐसा हो गया जैसे आईआईटी बन गया तो खुदा बन गया देश के अंदर। वो माहौल नहीं है वो। और वो आप जो है 90 पास चीनी और कोचिंग क्लास में आ जाते हैं और वो तो नाम लिखते हुए फर्जी स्कूल के अंदर के नाम लिखते हैं, स्कूलों में लिखते नाम। अब शिक्षा मंत्री नाम तो कटवा दिए वहाँ जो आईआईटी के कोर्स कोचिंग कर रहा है तो वो खाली वहाँ ड्यूटी हारी लगवाता वहाँ पर बच्चा, कोई पेरेंट की भी गलती है और कोचिंग क्लासेस की शर्तों की गलती है। आप उनकी जमीन नाम भरवा करके आप उनको कोचिंग करवा रहे हो।
So is it this IIT is God mindset is the big problem that is facing all of us, and how can we overcome it? Do remember, we're also providing you a number of suicide helplines there at the bottom of our screens. We'll be providing them throughout the show. But to talk more about all these issues, these challenges ahead, and how it's our cumulative problem, it's something that holistically we need to deal with as society, authorities, parents, families, everyone has to come together to deal with this issue. To talk more about this, we're joined by Dr. Neena Vijayvargiya, consultant psychiatrist and counselor, Kota, Dr. Abhineet Kumar, professor, Department of Psychiatry, Sharda Hospital, Dr. Vikram Singh, Chancellor, Noida International University. Seeing you in a different avatar today, sir. Usually we have you as ex-DGP. Anshad Gupta studied in Kota. He's currently a medical student. And Tejendra Pratap Rawat, who is also studying at Kota, but then decided to leave. Well, to begin with, I'd like to start with Dr. Neena Vijayvargiya, as you're right there in Kota. You've been talking to so many students. I can imagine families come to you. If you could tell us, what is the issue in Kota that you have seen? Kota in itself, I suppose, because it's like this pressure cooker where you have so many students coming and studying only for the exams, that we have seen, this number of suicides. But the problem is larger all around India as well. But tell us, what have you observed during your years there in Kota?
Yes, thank you for inviting me for this talk. Since long I'm seeing so many students of coaching, and I talk to many parents, I talk to many students. What I used to learn from this, what are the reasons behind suicide was, few reasons was many times the student who commits suicide was already suffering from depression, anxiety, or other mental health issues. He came from some city. For example, he came from Bihar or UP or MP, and he was already suffering from some mental health issues, and he came to Kota and he stopped his medicine. So mental health issues flare up. Obviously, there is a pressure. Obviously, this is a competitive exam. Pressure was felt by every student. But the reason behind the suicide is there is no one to listen them. कई बार पेरेंट्स इतना प्रेशर करते हैं अपने बच्चे को डायरेक्टली और इनडायरेक्टली फॉर द सिलेक्शन कि बच्चा बिकॉज ऑफ प्रेशर नॉट एबल टू स्टडी वेल, नॉट एबल टू अचीव marks, grades, and due to that pressure, he went into depression, and after a long period of depression, he commits suicide.
Right. And
parents Yes.
Yes, so you've been speaking to the students and the parents, and I'm sure this is
Yes.
something you convey to the parents. How receptive are parents to this? आपकी बात
No,
सुनते हैं when
they
you
are
tell
very
them
poor.
that ये
No,
बच्चा
no,
नहीं कर
parents
पा
are
रहा है?
very, yes. Parents are very poor. They are not a good listener because parents wants कि हमने इतना खर्चा किया है. I spent that much of money. I gave them a good clothes, अच्छा रूम दिलाया, अच्छे कपड़े दिलाए, अच्छे कोचिंग में एडमिशन कराया, अच्छा खाना दिला रहे, बच्चा पढ़ ही नहीं रहा है. They don't want to learn about mental health of their kids. They don't want to listen to how whether he is feeling sad or he is hopeless or he is helpless, he is not able to perform, he is not feeling good since a long time, he is not able to eat food, he is not able to sleep well. They don't want to listen. What they say is कि तुम लोग नाटक कर रहे हो, तुम नहीं पढ़ना चाहते हो, तुम उसका ड्रामा कर रहे हो. Even in front of me, they used to criticize their kids. Because no one tells them kids कि तुम जाओ सुसाइड कर लो, ना कोई कोचिंग उन्हें बोलती है, ना कोई
Right.
टीचर उन्हें ये चीज बोलते हैं. Obviously, everyone wants कि कोचिंग अपना काम कर रही है कि आप आओ, आपको
Very
पढ़ाया
quickly,
जाए.
what about the coaching institutes? Do they not recognize this? The teachers there not recognize that this child is facing too much difficulty? Perhaps this is not the right fit for him.
This is not a physical illness कि आपका हड्डी टूटेगा and teacher will recognize कि he is not able to walk properly. This is a
जी.
mental health issue. Until unless you will not express कि I am sad, I am feeling suicidal, I am feeling helpless. How can I even I am a psychiatrist. I am not able to judge by seeing the face. I have to talk. Until unless बच्चा टीचर से या पेरेंट्स से बात करके बताएगा नहीं, टीचर, काउंसलर, कोचिंग कैसे समझेंगे? और जब पेरेंट्स ही
Right.
नहीं समझेंगे तो वो तो वैसे भी नहीं समझेंगे.
All right, well, let's hear from some students who have been there. And first, Anshat Gupta, you are now studying medicine. If you could, share with us what was your experience? Did you see this kind of stress around you?
Yes, ma'am, definitely. Like as you said, even I have studied in coaching institute, and stress is definitely there. But if I may speak in a simple language, like हम लोग बहुत बार सोचते भी हैं, जैसे मैम ने बताया कि पेरेंट्स भी ऐसे बोलते हैं कि भाई हमने तुमको इतना दिया, हम इतना करे, तुम एक एग्जाम क्लियर नहीं कर सकते. दैट डेफिनेटली हैपेंस. बट मैं खुद भी ऐसा मैंने फील करा है. आई वेंट टू नीना मैम स्पेशली फॉर दिस. माय पेरेंट्स लकीली वर सपोर्टिव कि ठीक है, आपको अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है, आप ठीक है, आप दिखाओ मैम को. बट या यू हैव टू एक्सप्रेस, लाइक आप इसको शेयर करने में एक तो बहुत से लोग को लगते हैं कि यार क्या सोचेंगे. Like coaching.
So that's
I had
interesting.
friends.
So you found just talking to Dr. Vijay Varghese, you found that in itself very helpful to you, and this is another issue, ma'am, that we have this stigma of seeking help for your mental
It's a
stress,
major
isn't
issue.
it? But yes,
But
go ahead, Anshat. Yes, go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah, कि एक तो होता है, like I was lucky, like I had a group of friends coaching में, and it was like maybe I was fortunate कि हम सब आपस में open थे कि भाई आज अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है, ये टॉपिक नहीं समझा. ओके. एंड मेरे पेरेंट्स सपोर्टिव थे, तो इवन समटाइम्स दे यूज्ड टू आस्क कि बेटा कर पाओगे क्या. आई वाज लाइक मेरे को इस टाइम अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है, बट आई कैन डू इट. ठीक है. तो एक स्टिग्मा की बात आ जाती है कि लाइक मैंने अपने आसपास देखा है, बच्चे जाने से कतराते हैं. या साइकियाट्रिस्ट तो पागल के डॉक्टर होते हैं, अगर हम वहां चले जाएंगे लोग क्या सोचेंगे, गोलियां कितनी आएंगी. And as ma'am pointed out, financial constraints is a big deal, है ना. And some people think कि यार maybe my life is not worth कि equal to like medicine. ठीक है, मतलब they will be like कि हम medicine नहीं ले सकते, we'll do this. So sometimes because of this people take this wrong step. But now
And they feel their
coaching
parents
में
are sacrificing so much, and that's an added pressure,
Yes.
and they just want to
Like-
take
Yes.
themselves out of that equation. Tejendra Pratap
Yes.
Rawat, if you could share your experience with us. You were preparing for the IITG exam, however, you decided to leave Kota. Tell us about your experience.
Thank you, ma'am. First of all, you are inviting me. Myself, Tejend, and I am preparing for IIT JEE, and I am a dropout student. फर्स्ट मैं कोटा गया था कोचिंग करने. मैंने 12th क्लास में अपनी कोचिंग भी लगाई थी, बट उधर जो बहुत प्रेशराइज होता है, मतलब एक क्लास में आई थिंक 100 to 110 स्टूडेंट्स, वी आर नॉट एबल टू कनेक्ट विद आवर टीचर्स एंड वन टू वन मेंटरशिप. सो आई फील कि this is not a place. That's why I leave Kota and preparing for IIT JEE in NCR region. Also, high expectations for teens also allow for all sort of pressures. Parents always want best of their child, but often sometimes their methods are not very good. Uh, that's why.
नो एब्सोल्युटली.
Uh,
और जब आप छोड़ना चाह रहे थे कोटा तो आपकी फैमिली का क्या रिएक्शन था?
अगर मैं आपको बताऊं तो मेरा डिसीजन मेरा ही था कि मैं आईआईटी जे की प्रिपरेशन करूंगा. नीदर माय मदर एंड फादर प्रेशराइज मी कि नहीं तुम्हें आईआईटी जे करना है, ये इसमें ये सब कुछ है. दैट्स व्हाई दे डोंट मतलब मेरे अगेंस्ट नहीं गए थे. उन्होंने बोला ठीक है, अगर तुम्हें जहाँ सही लग रहा है तुम वहाँ से प्रिपरेशन कर सकते हो.
So that was lucky for you. It was your own, ambition, and you went to Kota to study, but then you just didn't enjoy the atmosphere there or the pressure that you faced, and you could take that decision. That's lucky for you. Dr. Abhineet Kumar also with us. We were just talking about, the kind of stress children feel, and Anshad Gupta, somebody who studied in Kota, was sharing how he also consulted with Dr. Vijay Varghya, who's here, and he just found just the fact that he could talk to her was so helpful, and it gave him some amount of support. And how there's this stigma around seeking help for any sort of mental pressures, which is something we have to do away with, because we can say, oh, we have all these numbers, please approach, we'll have counselors for you. But if the students themselves feel hesitant to approach, then how does one resolve this issue? How does one help them?
Good evening, everyone. Actually, definitely, as you said, stigma is a very major factor of seeking help from anyone if suffering from any kind of mental health issues. In Kota, as Tajinder said, there's a lot of pressure to study and excel in their study or compete with the peer groups and get a good rank. So there is a one point you call action to get a good rank. Okay, and people are not worrying about their mental health or what kind of stress they are suffering from. Stress comes from so many sources, like parental stress. Okay, I'm sending you to that place and I'm spending so much money on you, on you, and you have to get a good rank. But at that point, no one is asking about their child or children. Okay, you went there and you're far from your home. First of all, how are you feeling? Means, are you able to adjust in those environment or not? So nobody is asking. They assume that if I'm spending money on my child or I'm sending there and people are taking admission in that place and very good institution, he will do definitely. He will do whatever and whatever we assumed. So most important thing is candidates are coming from far places to study, and there is a most important thing adjustment issues.
And
And
many of
second
the
thing,
students, they're 15, 16
yes,
years old. They've never been away from home. It's the first time
exactly,
away from home.
exactly. They are teen and very tender age, and whenever they are feeling any kind of stress or some kind of adjustment issues, they are very much. There is so much lack of psychosocial support is there. Yes, definitely. I'm not saying there are so many institutions they are keeping counselor in that their teaching institution, but still they they are not comfortable to speak to all of them. As Tajinder said, yes, they are friends and they talk to each other. So that will be first checkpoint. If suppose someone feeling stress or some kind of any kind of mental health issues, so he can say speak to or talk to who's near and dear or some friend. So that will be the first checkpoint. And there's an old saying, hope is the only light. So in that perspective, WHO also made a theme for this or previous year also, creating hope through action. So hope is the only light. So creating hope through
Right.
action, yes. Yes.
Right. So Vikram Singh, clearly this is, an issue that everybody has to, think about and talk about. It's not just the government. I mean, Ashok Gehlot, he'll get a report from the committee, but it's for, some sort of holistic solution. Families also have to realize, parents have to realize. So there are clearly two issues. One is the family pressure that the students face. One is their own pressure. Then this very toxic sort of competitiveness that we have for these IIT-JEE and NEET exams that, the students feel it just have to make it. They come from small towns. This is like make or break for them.
Yes.
Absolutely, Gargi. Good evening, and esteemed panelists. Being the oldest in your panel, I have a certain privilege that I've seen more of the world than most of you. After the great words of wisdom from Dr. Neena and Dr. Abhineet, very little is left for me. I would say, be kind, be compassionate, be understanding. A single insensitive remark, a single caustic remark can be the undoing of a fragile mindset. Please treat your child as if that child is going for war. Please don't treat him lightly. And if you have given him the clothes, school fees, you have not done any favor to him. All of us have been blessed to have parents who have done this. You get as much in an orphanage. Itna to yatim khane mein bhi mil jata hai. Here is when the cop comes. I tell the parents who come to me, aap koi ehsaan nahi kar rahe apne bachchon ke upar. Itna to anathalay mein bhi mil jata hai. Please take pains to be very kind. I'll tell you a small incident at the airport. I don't pry into what my neighbor is doing. A lady called up her only child and said, if you don't get more than 99%, don't come back home. I don't want to see your face. I told her, ma'am, you are as old as my daughter. I think that you are not doing anything kind. Please call back your child and say sorry. Be a shock absorber. Don't be a trauma center. एक मुसीबत की दुकान एक होती है. What you have done has done irreparable damage to the self-esteem and to the mental makeup of your child. I have no right to advise you, but I feel that a human tragedy is likely to happen in front of me, and it's my painful duty to intervene. The buffer system and the shock absorber system that the society had in the form of parents, guardians, we did not expect anything. We gave the best, but 2 days before the examination, there was no pressure. My parents in the old times said, we love you very much. Whether you get the marks or you don't get the marks, you are the only child and I love you very much. Marks just do not matter.
Well, you are clearly very lucky because this is something we need to create awareness about. As you're saying that, that Sharma ji ka beta sort of story where parents love to talk about, so-and-so's son has done this or so-and-so's uncle has done that and people have got. So we have to stop doing this. And also is Vikram Singh to realize your child's aptitude, because what we're also seeing is often children may not want to become an engineer, may not want to do medicine, but they're told this is what you have to do. No going into arts, no studying history, no studying, literature. This is what you have to do. So that is also a problem that we have in our country, and also a problem of jobs. I can understand parents feel if they don't guide their children properly, then they will not get a job tomorrow. So there are various issues at play here.
Obviously, every child gets married, every child gets a job. It's only the trauma for some time of 4 or 5 years. I don't know what will happen to the child. At the end of the day, all of us, somebody like a backbencher like me also became the DGP of a state and now a chancellor of a university. I'm guiding. All of you have a destiny. You are more of a child of the Almighty than anybody else's child. You have a bright future. The very fact that you're listening to this program, you're listening to Dr. Neena, Dr. Abhijit, goes to show that yes, you have arrived. God Almighty has a destiny for you, and always have a positive affirmation. You are the best. You are a winner. And it's the parents' duty to instill this self-affirmation that your child is a winner and he will always succeed, rather than saying, you are a loser. If I were to write a loser's handbook, I will write on your lifestyle and that will sell like hotcakes as a loser's handbook. These are real life words that I have heard from parents who I really don't know are hybrids between Adolf Hitler and Mussolini.
Right. So clearly we need a change, and the parents, families also need to realize, as Dr. Neena, this point that I was raising with Vikram sir, that often parents push their children who may not even have the aptitude. That is something also that needs to be addressed, and parents have to be told. Is this something that you've also seen?
Yes, many times we used to go for the IQ testing, intelligence test. तो मैनी टाइम्स स्टूडेंट्स का इंटेलिजेंस लेवल ही इतना नहीं होता जिस एग्जाम के लिए वो प्रिपेयर कर रहे हैं. एंड स्ट्रांगली एग्री विद विक्रम सर, बहुत ही अच्छा बोला उन्होंने, बिल्कुल एकदम सही पॉइंट उन्होंने उठाया है कि एक सिंपल सा मैसेज जो पेरेंट्स को है, क्या बच्चों को पढ़ने भेजें, अच्छे कोचिंग्स में भेजें, उन्हें IIT कराएं, उन्हें डॉक्टर बनाएं, जो बनाना है आप करें, लेकिन अपने बच्चों की मेंटल हेल्थ को चेक तो करें और उन्हें ये तो सिखाएं कि हारना नॉर्मल है, फेलियर इज अ पार्ट ऑफ लाइफ। अगर आपके मार्क्स अच्छे नहीं आते हैं, आप एग्जाम में सेलेक्ट नहीं होते, देन इट्स ओके, इट्स टोटली ओके, इट्स टोटली नॉर्मल। हारना नॉर्मल है, फेलियर्स बिल्कुल नॉर्मल है। इट्स नॉट ऑलवेज पॉसिबल कि आप विनर बने, आप फर्स्ट आए, आपकी रैंक आए ही। आप स्ट्रगल करें, आप मेहनत करें, खुशी खुशी करें, जितना कर सकते हैं करें। अगर नहीं होता है, सिलेक्शन नहीं होता है, दिस इज टोटली नॉर्मल। अगर पेरेंट्स ऐसा करें तो दुनिया के किसी भी प्रेशर में बच्चे को भेज दें, किसी भी कोचिंग में बच्चे को भेज दें, बच्चा का कोई कुछ नहीं बिगाड़ सकता। अगर उसे ये पता है कि मैंने मेहनत की है, मेरे मार्क्स नहीं आए, लेट्स ओके, एंड दिस इज टोटली अ नॉर्मल थिंग। बट बच्चे को क्या लगता है कि नहीं, मेरे मार्क्स नहीं आए हैं या मैं सेलेक्ट नहीं हुआ हूँ, ये बहुत बड़ा क्राइम है, मैंने मेरे पेरेंट्स के लिए का नाम खराब कर दिया, पैसा खराब कर दिया, मेरी जिंदगी जीने का कोई फायदा नहीं है। ये शब्द मैं डेली सुनती हूँ बच्चों से। एंड
That's so
एवरी टाइम
heartbreaking.
या आई यूज्ड टू टेल कि पेरेंट्स को बुलाओ, पेरेंट्स सुनने को तैयार नहीं होते। पेरेंट्स को डांटती हूँ तो पेरेंट्स मुझे बोलते हैं कि नहीं, आप बच्चे को ऐसा क्यों बोल रहे हैं, कि बच्चों को तो मोटिवेशन इज टोटली डिफरेंट देन अ प्रेशर। पेरेंट्स क्रिएटिंग अ प्रेशर, एंड पेरेंट्स शुड अंडरस्टैंड कि दे शुड नॉट क्रिएट प्रेशर। कोचिंग में भेजना कुछ गलत नहीं है,
And this
क्योंकि
toxic
मुश्किल
kind of
environment में
pressure.
बच्चों,
So parents
Yeah.
actually think they're motivating their children, but actually they're driving them
that is
into,
not a
severe
motivation. That is
depression.
not a motivation.
Absolutely,
Yes. That is not a motivation. And
Absolutely.
pressure is useful. मैंने देखा है कि इस एटमॉस्फेयर में, प्रेशर वाले एटमॉस्फेयर में कुछ बच्चे बहुत अच्छा करते हैं, बिकॉज प्रेशर उन्हें हेल्प करता है। बट कुछ बच्चों के लिए प्रेशर टॉक्सिक होता है। तो पेरेंट्स को समझना चाहिए कि हमारा बच्चा किस टाइप का है, कंपटीशन में जाके आगे बढ़ने वाला है, या कंपटीशन में, फॉर एग्जांपल अभी बोला कि 100 बच्चे का क्लास है, कई बच्चों को ज्यादा बच्चों के बीच में और अच्छा समझ में आता है, कई बच्चों को ज्यादा बच्चों के बीच में कम समझ में आता है। दोनों ही
Right.
नॉर्मल है, हर वो बच्चा भी नॉर्मल है, ये बच्चा भी नॉर्मल है। बट पेरेंट्स शुड अंडरस्टैंड ना कि उनका बच्चा किस टाइप का है, एंड दे शुड डिसाइड।
Right, absolutely. Dr. Abhineet, if you could just add more here. And, you know, I also feel sometimes we in the media, every time class 12 results come, we're always, you know, celebrating those who are the toppers. And I always feel that at the same time, we should also show examples of people who perhaps didn't do well in their boards or didn't get into IIT, but they still are very successful and happy in life. And I think the media also has a little bit of a responsibility here. Yes, Dr. Abhineet, so clearly parents need to be guided as well, not to put this toxic pressure on children.
Exactly, ma'am, exactly. Actually, motivation requires not fear. Fear gradually build up.
Yes, a certain amount of pressure is good. It helps you, it you know, makes
Yes.
you stronger, but not this level.
Yes, exactly, ma'am. So motivation requires. If you'll pressurize and if you'll tell them that you're going to lose something, so fear of losing increases the pressure, and that leads to the failure. So we need to motivate, not to say that you are going to lose this.
Pressurize to the point of fear. Well,
Yes,
I'm
ma'am,
running
yes.
out of time now, but I wanted to give last words to the students. Anshad Gupta, first to you, you know, for students, families who are watching, what would be, you know, your advice to them right now?
Ma'am, for the parents, like obviously I'm too young to say anything, but my advice would be कि be supportive. आपके बच्चे को जो करना है, आप पहले वो पूछो कि वो करना क्या चाहता है ना? Don't be in a rush to send them कि जाओ, तुमको IITian बनना है, तुमको डॉक्टर बनना है, तुमको वे सुपर स्पेशलिटी करनी, ये करना है, वो करना नहीं. You know, give them space, give them time, give them a choice. Choice is very necessary, I think.
All right,
That's
very
all.
important. And Tejendra Pratap Rawat, what would you like to say?
Ma'am, students work hard, sacrificing their physical well-being and trying to perform better, but at last they उनको मतलब सुनने को ये मिलता है कि तुमने मेहनत नहीं की. मैं ये कहना चाहूँगा कि सारे पेरेंट्स को अपने बच्चों के साथ एक अच्छा सा काउंसलिंग करना चाहिए कि हाँ, अगर तुम्हारे टेस्ट में मार्क्स नहीं आ रहे हैं, कोई बात नहीं, तुम और मेहनत करो, बट उनके ऊपर ये प्रेशर नहीं डालना चाहिए कि तुम्हें इस बच्चे से ज़्यादा मार्क्स लेके आने हैं, या फिर मतलब उनको कंपेयर नहीं करना चाहिए. ये मेरे को ऐसा लगता है ये वो बहुत बड़ा एस्पेक्ट है उन स्टूडेंट्स पे प्रेशर डालने का. दैट्स वाई मैं ये कहना चाहूँगा कि नेवर कंपेयर देयर स्टूडेंट्स विद other.
I think that's one of the banes of all, children, to be compared to someone else, be told, do better. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us, because this is a very, very important issue. We need to learn from, this crisis that we're undergoing. We need to learn from what's happening in Kota and take steps to improve the situation for students. And everyone needs to work together, as I've been saying. Students, parents, teachers, institutes, policymakers need to come together to address this very real problem. Thank you all for joining us. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.